the aftermath. Welcome back to my channel. So let's talk about this stack of books that are in my hand. These are all the books that I purchased in the month of March. This video is going to be all the books that I purchased in the month of March and April. And then there will be another video that I'll be doing that will be all the books I purchased in May and June. And then after that, I'll get back to like monthly book haul videos. Now, I will say I do need to slow it down. I will be specifically in August limiting the amount of books that I purchase because I have a lot of books that I need to read. My TBR is pushing almost 600 books, and I love having a very large TBR. It makes me like happy coming home to all of these, but I'm also in a space where I'm like, I need to like start getting through all of these. So as you watch my weekly slash was it weekend vlogs, you'll start to see me like getting through my TBR. But I am now moving into like book buying to book reading because there is a lot of books and there are so many bangers that I know are on my TBR, but I need to actually read them. So all that to say, this first stack that's right here is all of the books that I'm trying to see if I can raise it. Okay, there you go. These are all the books that I purchased in March, and then I know I won't be able to hold up my April stack, so I'll hold up half of it, and then I'll tell you also that I'm in my April stack. So let's jump in. So in order to get through this stack fairly quickly, I'm going to rapid fire these off, and if I do have like a little story about it, then I'll tell y'all. But the first book that I will be talking about is Exquisite Ruin. This one I was convinced to pick up by a bookseller at Barnes. For starters, we have to talk about these beautiful sprayed edges. This is something that is very new, specifically this year. I feel like every book is now getting a sprayed edge in the first print run, but the Barnes & Noble like bookseller convinced me to pick this one up. She said that it's a new up-and-coming fantasy, so maybe romantasy. I think she actually did call it a romantasy, so I wound up having to pick this up. Next, I have Kiss of the Basilisk. If you are on Instagram, Bookstagram, well, Instagram and Bookstagram are the same thing, but Book Talk, I know you've seen this back in March. My FYP was covered in this book. This book, to my understanding, has been re-released under Bloom. It also got a beautiful sprayed edge. I thought that was like amazing. Like, come on, Edge. Come on. To my understanding, this book is like a lot less spicy than the original. Like, this book is toned down. And if I remember correctly, this book was originally supposed to be called Split or Swallow. And then they had to change the name to be a little bit more, I guess, better for publication. So I have not read it, heard really great things about it, but excited to read it. Now, this actually is my current read because it is currently summer. Like, we're getting to the end of summer, so I said I need to pick this up. Strawberry Patch Pancake House by Lori Gilmore. I am so freaking excited to get into this. I'm actually about 26 pages in to this book. This is actually the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I'm starting to notice that there's doing more exclusive editions of this series. This is book 4 in the Dream Harbor series, and honestly, I have very mixed reviews about the series. I think as each book goes, I am starting to like it more. I rated the last book in the series, book 3, The Christmas Tree Farm. I rated that one 5 out of 5 stars. So my expectations are starting to like get higher for this series. So we'll see how I rate this one. Next is Blood on Her Tongue. This is a horror book. I honestly saw this sitting on the counter like this, and at that time, this book had not been, it was like an early release, so it was kind of like starting to hit the shelves, and they were about to stock the shelves with this. I picked it up. I do remember starting this book and reading like 50 pages, and then I soft DNF'd it because I wasn't really in the mood for this. This is a genre I typically don't get into. I don't have a lot of horror books. I like thrillers, I like mystery, but horror is different for me. I know that this is set in the 1887 Netherlands, and it's about a set of twin sisters, and one sister is kind of going insane. So the not insane sister is coming to visit and is navigating that. So very interested. Probably will be picking this up in October for like spooky season. Next, we got Story of My Life by Lucy Score. I kind of saw this closer to release date, and I saw the beautiful sprayed edges that it had on it, and I said I have to pick it up. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I do remember like sitting in the store trying to figure out what made this book exclusive versus the regular copy, and to my understanding, the like foiling on the cover, and then there is a like, ooh, try not to ruin the book, but there's like a picture on the inside, and that's what made this book exclusive. So this is one of the first books that made me realize that not all Barnes & Noble exclusive editions are made equal. Sometimes with Barnes & Noble exclusive editions, you'll get like a bonus chapter or something like that. Sometimes you'll get like artwork, or in some cases, I don't remember what book it was, you got like a playlist. I was like, I'm paying like $2 more, or like I maybe doing like I'm going through this hassle to get this book, and in reality all I'm getting is a playlist. So that was one of the things I learned with this book. Next is To You at the Altar by Rebecca Thorne. I am trying to remember. This is book 3 of the, what is the name of this? Tomes and Tea. So yeah, so this is book 3 of the Tomes and Tea series. I have not read book 2 yet. I do want to get to book 2 soon, so then I can get to book 3, because book 4 is actually coming out in August, so I'm very behind in this series. I need to get caught up. So this one is The Seven Sisters by Lucinda Riley. This is a fiction book. I spent a good bit of time trying to figure out where this book was located. It's in fiction. This book, honestly, I think I watched somebody else's like book haul, that's what it was. It was a book haul. I don't remember who the creator was, and they were talking about how they got this book, and I was like, ooh, this looks kind of interesting. And then I did a little bit more research on this book. Come to find out, this is like a 7-8 book series, and the author passed away before she was able to finish the last book, so her son finished the last book, and I was like, that is so cool. So I do look forward to reading this. I don't have any of the other books in the series. I also have found that it is somewhat difficult to get the other books in the series, so I might have to look at, like, once I read this book, either ordering them online or really trying to figure out where like the future books are, because they're not all at Barnes. Like book 2 might be there, but book 3 might, or book 5 might be at one Barnes. So that's one thing I kind of noticed about this one, is that it's a little difficult to find all of the books in the series. Last one that I have, it's not the last book in the stack, but that was the last one that was my hand, is The Prince Without Sorrow. Honestly, I remember this book being, it wasn't overly hyped, but it did get some attention when it was coming out. If I remember correctly, this is like a very but it was kind of, some of the marketing on this was like, it's a very easy fantasy. It's like a prince who doesn't like violence and doesn't like getting into fights and things of that nature, but his brothers and his father enjoy it, so he's trying to navigate that. And then there's like witches who are being attacked, so he's trying to navigate all of that. So I found that to be kind of interesting, because I was like, how is all of this going to play out? Because you don't like violence, but your family does. So how does that all come together? All right, these are the last two books for the month of March. Let's do this. This one, Dance of Shadows. This is a thick book, y'all. This is book 2 of, I'm not entirely too sure what this series is called. I don't know if this series has a name. The first book is called Sons of Darkness. It's also thick, but it's actually a little bit smaller than this. I started reading it. I had to take a break because the time that when I started reading the book, I wasn't in a good spot. Like, there was too many things moving and I was doing too much with work, and I was like, I cannot focus on this right now, so I had to put it down. But I did find that book 2 got released back in March, so I had to pick it up. And then I was so glad that I did pick it up, because book 2 sold out so quickly, and I was like, I'm so glad that I have it, because I thought I wasn't going to have it. And I will say these frayed edges are so freaking cool to me. And then the last book for the month of March is this one right here, The Rag Picker King by Cassandra Clare. This is a signed edition. This is so funny. I heard that book 2 is coming out in this series. I can't think of what the name of this series is. It might be called the Sword Catcher series. I think that might be what it's called. I'm not entirely too sure what the series is called, actually, but Sword Catcher is book 1 in this series, and I was looking online to see like where I could pick up this book, and I found that this book was at Books A Million, and there's only one Books A Million in my area. And it just so happened that this Books A Million had signed editions, and I was like, okay, is this really signed, or is this going to be like a digitally signed thing? And sure enough, let's see if I can find it. Where is it? Where's my signature? Okay, there you go. It is in fact signed, y'all. And I said, that is so freaking cool that it's signed. So it actually is a signed book, so that is really cool to me. I have never had a Cassandra Clare book signed, so I thought that was so cool. I'm starting to notice that there's like something wrong with the pages. Like, the pages were cut kind of funny, as you kind of can see. Maybe not, but it's okay. I don't plan to get rid of it anytime soon. So that was all the books that I purchased in the month of March. Let's go get the April stack. This is half of the April stack right here. I'm gonna rapid fire like I did with the March stack, so we can get through this fairly quickly. April is kind of heavy, so let's do this. First book is The Notorious Virtues. This is, I'm pretty sure this is fantasy, potentially romantasy. I know this is YA. One of the things that stood out for me in this book was that there is like trials / games. If you tell me a book has trials / games, I'm gonna pick it up. I love a book with a trial / game in it, so I had to get it. Let me swap. Okay, this one is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I did read this. I rated this 5 out of 5 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I can understand why people didn't enjoy this, but for me, I enjoyed it. It's very different than I think traditional romance books. I also can see why people feel like this book should be lit like fiction and it shouldn't be under romance, but again, I enjoyed it. I think it should be a romance book, and I definitely recommend it. Next is Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinniman. I annotated this book. I think I read this in May, I'm pretty sure. It's July to give context, but I read it, annotated it, thoroughly enjoyed it. 5 out of 5 stars. I wasn't planning on giving my ratings, so I do plan to do like a video dedicated to all the books that I've read, so stay tuned for that. But I did enjoy this book. Is this all of them? Yes. Okay, these next 1, 2, 3, 4 books, I thought there was another one, maybe not. These next 4 books are all book of the month books. I do not remember which one of these books was my book of the month pick for the month, but all of these books I'm pretty sure were the book of the month for April. Maybe not. This one doesn't have the book of the month thing on the back, but I do know it came out in April. So let's do this one, or let's do this stack, or finish out the stack. The first one is Gifted and Talented by Olive Blake. I own this one and then all 3 of the Atlas 6. I've heard really great things about Olive Blake. Super excited to read this one. This is, I think, a new series by her. Okay. I am so excited for this one. This is Enchantra. So this is book 2 of the Phantasma series. I was so excited for this book to come out, and I was like, as soon as this book comes out, don't look for me, don't ask for me, don't call me. I'm gonna be like in this book. You know what I haven't done? Got into this book. So I do want to make sure that as like I get to this book soon, because I'm excited. I haven't heard anything about future books. I don't know if this is going to be a duology or if, I think she's calling them interconnected standalones, and that's kind of how everyone is kind of like treating these 2 books, Phantasma and Elantra and Enchantra. I don't know what I call it, Elantra. Enchantra. They're treating it like interconnected standalones. All that to say, I am so excited. There is that game/trials element in this book, so I look forward to seeing how it all plays out. Next is Passion Project by London Speary. I am going to be honest with you, I genuinely don't remember what this book was about. I do remember reading a little bit about this book, and I said, why not? I had the book credit, so I picked it up. And then the last book in this stack is 6 Days in Bombay. Similar to the last book, I read a little bit of like the synopsis. I probably read chapter 1 or a little bit of chapter 1, and I said, I have book credit, why not? So I picked it up. All right, so this is the second stack right here for the month of April. So let's jump in. All right, first book, Make You Mine. This is book 3 of the Honey Mountain series. I own book 1 through 3. I have not started this series yet, but I've heard really good things about it. The interesting thing about this series that is when you get all 5 books and you put them together, it makes this beautiful like mountain with like the sun setting. So I need to determine if I'm gonna read I need to read books 1 through 3 to determine if I'm going to buy books 4 and 5. So we'll see. The next one is Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. The first thing I definitely want to mention is these amazing deckled edges. I find that to be a thing with books that are kind of coming back, but then also very like also leaving. So I look forward to reading this. I have not read Magnolia Parks. I did own it. I did wind up unhauling it because I was going to I think I'm gonna get the new covers, but I also love the original covers, so I've been going back and forth. All this to say, I do plan to read this and then hopefully allow that to dictate if I am going to pick up other Jessa Hastings books. This one is A Liar's Twisted Tongue. This was a book that I purchased from TikTok, TikTok Shop to be exact. One of the things that I love about TikTok and TikTok Shop in particular is that authors who are trying to like get started and get their book out there can literally talk about their book on TikTok, and if I see a book enough, I'll purchase it, which is what happened with this one. The next one is the Revenant Games. Revenant Games. This one has that similar concept of like there's a game / trial. I'm pretty sure this was like a buy one get one half off, and that's why I picked it up. Up next, this book makes me happy every time I see it. So this is Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. I did a whole vlog for this book. Well, excuse me, let me correct that. I did a whole vlog of me going to get this book signed because Lila Sage came to Texas to do the book signing for this book, and I got this book plus the other books in the series signed, and I'm pretty sure she personalized all of them. Yeah, she did. So she personalized them. So that was really dope. I have not read it. I am not ready to let go of this series, so I'm trying to determine what I'm gonna do, but I'm excited. The next one is House of Pounding Hearts. This is book 2 of the Kingdom of Crows. I believe this is a trilogy. I believe. I do know this book is getting the like trilogy or the series is getting re-released. The first book is called House of Beating Wings. I believe it's green. This one is blue, and then the third one I'm pretty sure is like red or pink or something like that. So there's that. The next one is This Monster of Mine. I'm pretty sure, so this one is listed as fantasy, fiction, fantasy, and dark fantasy. So I do remember this being on like a fantasy table. This cover made me stop and look at it. I do remember reading the back of it and I was like, ooh, this seems interesting, so I picked it up. And then the next one is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I have heard very, very mixed reviews about this book, more positive than negative, but still will say heard very mixed reviews on this. I think it is just like Say You Remember Me, where people have like the expectation of this being a romance book and it's not falling in like the traditional romance, it's falling more fiction / literary fiction. So I do plan to read this fairly soon and give my thoughts. This book also, when I went to go buy it, it came in a tote bag, a pop socket, and a little pin, like a little enamel pin. It was so cute, and I do find myself using the bag pretty often, so there's that. And then the last book for April, that was a time, y'all, is Summer in the City by Alex Astor. This, if you know anything about this book, you know that there's probably like 5 different versions of this book. This is the Walmart version, and it has the beautiful yellow edges. The hardcover of the book is yellow, and it was simply by chance that I went to Walmart and this book was there. It was probably like several weeks. It had, well, not several weeks, it probably was like 3 or 4 weeks after the book was released. So I was like, the likelihood of me finding this book is pretty slim. And I do remember people saying like, oh my gosh, if you see this book, let me know because I want it. And I even remember the author was talking about her trying to find the book out in the wild and she was having issues with it. All of that to say, when I walked in Walmart and I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And I picked it up, and I actually did want the yellow version, but I just could not remember which store had the yellow version. So I found it, I'm excited, and I do plan to read it soon. Ideally, I do need to read this before the end of summer, so I need to shift things around so I can make that happen. So that concludes my March and April book haul. That was a time. That was a very interesting time. So March and April is actually, I think, my more smaller amount of books. I do feel like May and June are my larger, like the 2 months where I was just buying books left, right, and center. So I will definitely recommend, once you check out my May and June one, definitely have you some snacks, have you a drink, because there's going to be a lot of books that we're going through in that one. And then July, it's July 28th. My July haul is not going to be as big. And then I definitely know my August, September, October, really everything on for the month of for the year of 2025 is not going to be that large, because I truly need to get through all of these books. I won't get through all of them, but I do want to make a big dent in my physical TBR. So maybe I should start like a physical TBR challenge. I don't think I could be one of the girlies who does like the wheel or like pulling a book out of a jar, but I do, like, I can walk up to my shelves and pull something off and start reading it. So we'll see. All right, y'all, thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on your post notifications, and again, thank you for watching. Peace.